What's up, everyone? The Sports Grind is back for another NBA talk right here. How's it going, Gio? How you been?
Doing all right.
All right.
All over the place, to be honest with you.
Yeah, not feeling well?
Not feeling too well. Had a fever yesterday.
Yeah. All right, well, it's time to talk, so let's do this. All right, we're going to be opening up with Bulls at 76ers last night. Bulls beat the 76ers 102-90, keeping their playoff hopes alive. I believe they're still in a playoff spot. They're tied three-way with the Pacers and the Heat.
Yep.
Yeah, this is what I really want to talk about because this is probably the toughest battle, obviously, for the playoff spots. This can literally go either way. And I'll talk about that because the Pacers actually beat the Bucks, and that made the Bucks lose their fifth spot to the Atlanta Hawks because the Hawks won their game last night.
Right.
And Cleveland took back first place. And funny to think about it, the Hawks actually beat the Celtics, so, I mean, this is not looking that well for the Celtics. So this could definitely turn to be a decider in the playoffs for them. But, yeah, so Nets and Magic also played. That wasn't really much of an important game, so if we're just going to hit the final score, 115-107 Magic.
Yep.
And
Brooklyn remains the worst team in the NBA, so.
Yeah, so I don't know. Both
Not really
teams,
much to say about Brooklyn.
Yeah. Magic only really have Aaron Gordon, to be honest. All right, so Bucks at Pacers. Pacers ended up winning the game 104-89. They were struggling in the beginning, but ended up coming through. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a hungry team. Paul George is trying to make a statement, and they have Lance Stevenson back. So let's think about this for a second. This team's on fire. I don't see why they can't make it, but it's also hard to predict with Chicago Bulls. I just feel that the Chicago Bulls are not making the playoffs out of any of those teams. Miami Heat are probably the hottest team since January.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, they're still under 500, but from like
Yeah,
they probably had I think they had the largest streak besides the Golden State Warriors this year.
Yeah. And I know the Thunder are doing well lately too, but
yeah,
they're all fifth. Well, let's just look at 6th through 9th. I know 9th obviously doesn't make the playoffs, but 6th through 8th, 11.5, 12.5, 12.5. One game separates three teams in those last three places for the playoffs. And then you have Miami half game out from 8th and 7th place.
Yeah.
So literally one loss, one win.
I mean,
this might come down to the wire.
Even Milwaukee's in danger, like, being eliminated. So like it's hard to look at that.
Yeah, any of these teams can also miss out.
You would think like with like 3-4 games left in the season, a 6-seeded team is they're kind of safe a little bit, Well, Milwaukee's not safe at all. Milwaukee's not safe, and even Atlanta. Look at Atlanta right now. I mean, they're literally a game and a half. Fifth seed's not even safe. That's absolutely insane. I haven't seen that in a while. So I mean, look, Atlanta winning their game last night. I think I don't see why they would be eliminated.
I don't think so. I think I agree with you when you said that the Bulls will be the team to drop out of the playoffs, even though they're in 7th right now.
Yeah.
I could see that because honestly, I know Dwayne Wade came back or is coming back. Did he come back? Did he make his appearance? He said he was coming back. So I mean, but even with him back, it's really just a Jimmy Butler show. He had a triple-double yesterday in their win,
and the only reason why they're also winning is because Mirotic. Mirotic is absolutely saving them. He's been their second best player so far.
He's been scoring a lot for them, and that's what he's able to do.
Look, he went 8 for 11 last night. This guy's supposed to be known to be a three-point shooter. He's doing everything right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, Bulls are clinging in there just with a couple of right roster spots. Miami's playing like a great team. They're playing great defensively, and I like I said, like the Pacers, they're back on a hot streak. They're not really losing many games these days. I mean, if I really had to see a team collapse, it would be the Bulls. The Bucks, this is what's so difficult about it because like the Bucks have been such a a nice, remarkable team this year. Giannis has been playing great. I mean, honestly, I think he should be considered a top 5 player for MVP just because he's leading his team in all categories this season. So, I mean, but also think about it, it's just that team also might not even make the playoffs.
Right.
It's just like you're looking at a Bulls team that's also playing pretty well.
If
Mirotic and Jimmy Butler play like how they're playing right now, they're obviously going to be in the playoffs.
Right. But I think even though even them being in the playoffs, I understand that the lower seeded teams have a hard chance of pulling off an upset and whatnot. But let's be honest here. If the Bulls even if they secure the 7th spot or the 8th spot and they make it into the playoffs, what is really the point? Are they going to give the Celtics or Cleveland really any competition? I said, it's really only Butler. Like you said, Mirotic has been really good. But earlier in the season or a couple weeks ago, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
so now he's on his
that's
hot
what I'm trying to
stretch.
say. Like,
How long
out of any
carry?
team that's in the playoffs right now, it's just like from seventh, let's just say seventh, eighth seed right now. If Chicago was to make it, I don't see them even beating Cleveland or Boston, or if Toronto was somebody to grab the second spot.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah, it's like no matter how much of a losing streak Boston hits in the end, I just still think Boston as a team is going to beat the Bulls.
Yeah, people
first
might.
round.
If anyone listens to this, they'll probably be like, "Well, what are you talking about? Obviously, Cleveland or Celtics are going to win." Yeah, but I'm saying they're not even going to win the game. It's not going to be a series.
Exactly.
I'd rather see Indiana play them. Indiana
Yeah.
has more matchups.
And to be honest, let's say
Cleveland, I think.
let's say Miami was to place Boston in the first round. I can see Miami beating Boston.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Miami, like you said, they've been hot, and
Miami's probably one of the best upset teams if you consider OKC.
Listen,
OKC would be an upset,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying, other than that, Miami.
Whiteside is there. Dragic has been good for numerous years now.
Mhm.
He's very underrated. And James Johnson has been really good for them this year. Due to me playing FanDuel, I've noticed James Johnson, and he's been really good. And they have some scores, but so you never know. I mean, they're not going to go far. I definitely don't. You know, I'm not saying that. And Waiters has been really good for them. So I don't know. I expect them to push into the playoffs somehow.
Well, next segment we'll talk about the Eastern Conference standings once again with tomorrow's games. But let's quickly head over to Western Conference with the TNT the last game last night, which was Timberwolves versus the Trailblazers. All right, yeah, goodbye Timberwolves. You know they're out, but the Trailblazers. It's funny because when I was watching this game last night, the Timberwolves were leading for a good portion of the game. You know, even in the second half they were leading, and they completely collapsed. The Trailblazers are fighting for a spot. I mean,
yeah, that was a huge win for them.
Yeah, that was a huge win. It looks like they're going to be grabbing the 8th seed, without a doubt. Originally, I kind of thought that Denver would take the position.
I don't know. It's only 1.5.
Yeah,
so
they
maybe,
still could take it. They
yeah.
still could take it, but you can't deny that Portland's probably going to grab this spot.
Right.
You know, even though Denver has been beating a lot of great teams this year. Unfortunately, they just haven't been that consistent with it. It's just the way it is. Congratulations on beating those great teams. You know, they beat the Warriors and all. But you have to be a better all-around team. You got to be more consistent.
Now,
Like it's great if you were to make the playoffs and they say, yeah, we've beaten all these great teams. That's another story. But look, now you're like a game and a half back from Portland. That's the 8th seed's the only spot right now that's open. Every other seed is locked.
Yeah.
So, and it looks like pretty much, yeah, it's only Portland and Denver, the Western Conference, battling for that spot.
Yeah,
and
I've just looked at it. New Orleans is mathematically out, so
yeah,
they have 4 games left. They're out 5.5. So that's
yeah,
not
and
happening.
with the Trailblazers' victory, I just don't see why not. You know.
Yeah,
Look,
personally, like, if I had to give an opinion real quick, like, I want to see Denver in playoffs because Portland's been in the playoffs the past few years and they haven't done much.
And look, they've been. How many times have they played the Warriors? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure they played them like twice. You know, it's just how you Portland even. Oh, Kevin Durant's gonna come back, and we'll talk about that later about Kevin Durant coming back because that could be an issue, or that could just be a really great thing. But look, the Trailblazers grabbing the 8th seed. They'll play the Warriors. That's like a sweep right there. Okay, maybe one game if they were to grab it. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's a Portland
that's how
side.
it is. That's how it is in basketball these days. You know what I mean? Number 1 seed usually just annihilates the 8th seed. That's how most sports are.
Besides a couple years ago when we saw Golden State as the 8th seed against Dallas, that was a big series with Baron Davis. But yeah, usually the first seeds usually cruise through. I mean, Portland's also, don't forget, they lost Aldridge, so like they're not, you know, they don't have the same piece. Like besides Lillard and McCollum has been good. And Nurkic has been really good too, but don't forget he's also coming off an injury. So if they make the playoffs, who knows if he's going to play, you know, to the same ability. Denver has a lot of pieces like Jokic, Gary Harris, Gallinari, Wilson Chandler, but really I don't really see them. Denver might give Golden State more of a matchup, like height wise.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Than Portland.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, Denver. Look, Denver did beat Golden State earlier on in the year with Kevin Durant. You know, and the Warriors are playing great throughout that time.
Warriors
So,
have trouble against
statement.
big guys. They have trouble against big guys, and so if Jokic, listen, the guy is huge and he can have a triple double like any game. So,
Exactly. He's gonna be. He's already a great player, but like
Yeah.
as time goes on, he's only.
Can
gonna
you
get better.
imagine with experience? So
Yeah, exactly.
I think for the best of the NBA, like for the best interest in the NBA, I think Denver getting in
Yep. Well,
would be
that's
the best move. But
I don't
know yet.
yeah, because look, with 2 minutes left in the Denver, in the Portland's Minnesota game, Minnesota's finally scored their first field goal with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I mean, you can probably say that's bad offense. But that's pretty solid defense right there. I mean, can you actually have a bad offense for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right. Well, we'll close off that segment, and we'll be going into the tomorrow's games.
Yeah, and real quick as we end this segment, Denver also has 4 games left, and Portland only has 3. So that's another interesting to look at because you never know if they have that one game in hand. If they can just make up half game ground, they could get in that way too. So
all right, well we'll be discussing. Next segment we'll be discussing tomorrow's games and the standings and see what the playoff picture will be looking like. See you guys soon.